For today's Hallyu People, we are joined by Korean-Dutch pianist Gile Bae, or Bae Gile in Korean, an artist drawing attention from the European classical music world. Born in Rotterdam in the Netherlands and having swept international competitions from an early age, she has focused not on the glamour of competition, but on the performance itself and cultivating a distinctive musical world of her own. Let's welcome Gile Bae into the studio. Hello, Gile.
Hello,
It's
Gile.
an honor to have you here.
Hello everyone, I'm Gile Bae and I'm here at Arirang TV. I'm really delighted to be here.
All right, we're so happy to have you here, Gile. And you have a very special performance coming up in just a few days. Your first recital in Korea. You're going to meet the Korean audiences here in Korea, which is where your roots are. So how do you feel about it?
Yeah, it's different because this is the first time I'm on Korean soil giving a performance. Of course, I've performed in Europe, in South America, in America, and I'm coming back to the roots, and this is a special moment for me, and it's actually a celebration of me being part Korean, of course.
That must be a very special feeling for you, especially that you are like coming back to Korea. But for your first recital program, you selected Bach's Goldberg's variations. Was there a particular reason why you chose this?
Well, I have a special connection with music of Bach because when I was in the belly of my mother, when she was pregnant, she's a violinist and she practiced a lot of Bach.
Ah.
And I used to cry a lot when I was a baby, and apparently I calmed down by the music of Bach. So I have a special connection with the music of Bach. The Goldberg variations, I think it's the Bible of the music of Bach, especially for pianists, and like Dante in poetry, let's say. And so, you know, it's a huge universe with all small universes inside which co-lives together. And I think the beauty of this piece, it's so much harmony between emotional depth, intellectual, architectural structure. So it's the world of Bach put in one piece.
I mean, no wonder you are being described as a Bach specialist, and I see now the connection that you have already.
Well, I think more than a specialist, I'm a big fan and lover of Bach. It's
right.
I prefer it.
For our viewers who might not be familiar, is there anything else that you want to mention about Bach? What really draws you deeply to his music?
I think it's the most pure way of making music. For me, I grew up as a Christian, and I think it's the direct connection between the soul and something which is called God. I think it brings you so much freedom, and the more you play it, you feel more freedom. It has this, I call it swing, let's say, but it's almost like a human heartbeat. And this you can feel a lot in the music of Bach. So it's very human and divine at the same time.
Now, Gile, you, if I'm correct, you started to play piano since the age of 5, and even before that, you started off with a violin.
Yes,
because of your mom, I guess, as well.
Yes.
So you were named a child prodigy when you were small, and I mean, you also performed actually in an orchestra when you were 5 with a Korean orchestra,
yes,
I think, as well. So it was not. So the upcoming recital is the first recital in Korea, but you did already perform in Korea before. So when you look back at your childhood and the artist that you have become right now, is there any defining moment in your growth?
Well, I think I'm still that little girl, 5 years old, going on stage and doing the thing I really love to do. I didn't feel it as a must thing to do when I was 5. And the same thing now, I'm 30 and I'm still, you know, getting on stage and I just do something I really love to do. Of course, age brings with more responsibility, let's say. So I think during my 30 years of life and 25 years as a pianist, the growth is actually every day, and especially the first 15 years of my life I've been practicing. I've been at the Conservatory of The Hague, at the Academy of Imola, so you're focused on practicing. So building your foundations, and as time goes by and you start to fly free in the real world, especially, you know, as an artist, it's quite difficult to find your own voice. And I think my main focus for the last 15 years has been to find my own voice. So, you know, I have many respect for all the artists in the world, and everybody, you know, are expressing their feelings and their thoughts through music. And my goal is to be authentic in myself and try to out that in the most natural way possible.
Right, and actually us three share something in common, is that we have Korean roots, but we all grew up in different countries. Right. For example, so we're in Germany, me in Australia, you in Netherlands. So maintaining those Korean roots, how has this identity influenced your music interpretation and artistic voice?
Yeah, it's funny because I was actually just talking to, and it's, you know, of course, I have been living most of the time of my childhood in the Netherlands, and this brings, I think, more looking at the culture of the Netherlands. It's very direct. It's analytical. So I think it has been perfect to practice, you know, to build a foundation which is, you know, built on doing things, the proper things. I have lived 15 years in Italy for my studies, and as you can see, there's, you know, the Italians have more passion, of course. There's more sensitivity, you know, and this is quite similar, I have to say, to the Koreans. They're passionate, they have this fire, and I think these two connections of these countries, either it's Korean, Italian, or the Dutch, somehow it comes together, and that shapes you as a person. So being back in Korea and having finding my Korean roots again, this will certainly bring also more perspective into my playing, for sure.
I think we can all relate to a lot of that, what you said right now.
Yeah.
Yes, indeed. So also, like, the classical music world is often seen as having like distinct cultural traditions. From your experiences, what differences do you see between, let's say, the classical music environments and like of Europe and of Korea?
Well, of course, the classical music, mainly the origin of there is the traditional European countries, right? I mean, Lyrica, so it's from Italy. Many classical composers are from Germany, so there's a historical drive, and it's in Europe very appreciated when you are, how do you say, more philological. And I think in Korea there's a lot of discipline, I have to say, and this we can also see from outside of Korea. Koreans, especially in the music world, are known for their discipline, for their strength, and for going for their goal. I think having both of it, so the traditional background from the European countries where the classical music actually is born, together with this drive, either it's Korean or something learned from Italy or the Netherlands, I think it's a good combination. It's a very good combination.
Right. No, Gile, I used to play the violin in Germany as well since I was around 6 or 7 years old. But back then, when it came to Korean music, K-pop and also K-food, all of that, people in Germany were not familiar with that. But these days, it's huge. So Hallyu is really expanding across Europe. Yes. You probably felt it in Italy and the Netherlands as well. But what about Korean classical musicians? Are they also receiving interest in Europe right now?
Oh yes, definitely. I mean, especially the young people, and of course competitions play a huge role in letting the European countries know about these Korean talents. And it's still growing, and it's actually incredible to see how this is also developing in Korea. So it's, you know, to be very honest, until 10 years ago, especially Asian pianists, they were known for their fantastic technique and the virtuosity. But of course, that's not what music is all about. It's not about how fast you move your fingers. It's also about the emotional depth you can give into a piece. And this is growing, and yeah, it makes me proud to see that. Yeah.
Excellent, excellent. And you recently released a new album through Universal Music. Congratulations first for releasing that album. And with this album, what message or artistic vision did you most hope to convey through this recording or record?
Well, the last recording with Universal is about Bach and Schumann, and I think these composers, they go really well together. As I said, Bach is the apotheosis of classical music. I think it's the big grandfather, the godfather of classical music, and Schumann, although his terrible life, but he's, I think, the most romantic composer in musical history. And I wanted to show that even though there are two completely different worlds, universes, they still make a big part of one thing, and that's music itself, and it's all connected.
And Gile, you are also scheduled to perform with chamber musicians of the Asia Philharmonic, and who are directed under Maestro Chung Myung-hun or Myung-hun Chung. So what are you looking forward to about this performance?
Well, I'm very excited to play in chamber music setting. It's a perfect way to share musical intelligence, musical intellectual, visions, and of course with the soloists of the APO, I'm expecting that these intentions will be very deep, and that it's a learning process also for me. And it's always nice to listen to good musicians, and of course I have a lot of respect and admiration for Maestro Chung. And yeah, I'm really looking forward. Yeah.
We are too. And also, do you have maybe other upcoming plans or goals that you could share with us and our viewers?
Actually, I'm working on some social impact projects, so especially in South America. This is quite a project I have my heart close to. And this is to bring people who have no access to classical music, to bring them closer to music, because I think it's really important, not because you have to become a musician, but I think listening to classical music, understanding classical music, brings you more sensitivity, more, insight, and it opens your creative mind. And this I would like to give also to people who cannot access this directly because they have not the possibilities, or economically, or because they're too far from a theater. And so, yeah, bringing classical music closer to the common people, I think this is one of my projects. And of course, going on like this and keep growing as an artist, learning from where I can learn, and yeah, just continue growing. That's my goal. Yeah.
All right, thank you very much, Gile, for sharing your story with us today, especially just a couple of days away from your recital. Thank you very much, and we're going to wish you the best for the performance and your future endeavors. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
And thank you, Walter, as always. We're going to have you back here pretty soon.
See you soon.